Hi, my name is Kelsey Patterson. I'm 21 years old from Toronto, Canada. I am Canadian. I'm studying at SKH, the Warsaw School of Economics, and I'm specializing in marketing strategy and international business. I love traveling, I love cooking, I love singing, and I'm really excited to be in Europe, especially Poland. I think in terms of one of the biggest cultural differences, I guess, from a character standpoint, Poles tend to be very straightforward and they really tell you what they think. They're a lot quieter, but when they do want to speak their mind, they will tell you exactly what they're thinking. I think from a Canadian perspective, we can kind of, so to speak, beat around the bush sometimes to, we'll try and be nice and not really want to hurt someone's feelings. So we won't necessarily say exactly what we mean. So yeah, a great example of this is when I went shopping in one of the malls in Warsaw. I was in a store and I was trying on an article of clothing and I wasn't really sure about it, wasn't sure if it was my best fit, but I went out of the dressing room to the mirror to take a peek, and the girl who was trying on clothes in the room next to me was out, I guess, also looking at the mirror, and she gave me this look that you could tell she didn't like it, so didn't like what I was wearing. So I turned to her and I was like, oh, like what do you think? And she was like, no, you should not buy that. Like something to that effect. It was like, oh, that does not look good on you. So I was like, oh, okay. I appreciated the honesty. It was a little blunt, a little brutal, but definitely sped up the process of not buying that item of clothing. So thank you, whoever you were. Thanks. Some Polish men expect women to be a little bit more subservient than in Canada. They expect women to be very, very aggressive, especially when you're going out. They kind of expect us to do all the work, which I'm not really used to. I think one of the biggest differences too is even walking on the street. Polish men are, look down, don't acknowledge you at all. Whereas in Canada, I guess men and women generally too, Canadians are known for being very friendly, but Canadian men will smile, will say hi, that type of thing, will be more likely to strike up a conversation. I love Polish cuisine. That's been one of my favorite parts about coming here. I love the Polish pierogies. I love pierogi ruski. They're my favorite. I also, back in Canada, I love apple pie. So coming to Poland, I learned about a dish called szarlotka, which is kind of like a deep dish apple pie, and it's usually served heated. So that's been one of my favorites. And I also love coleslaw. I eat so much coleslaw here, and we have it in Canada. We just don't eat it very often. So, yep, Polish cuisine, I definitely like it. So one thing that I love in Poland is the parties. I guess compared to Canada, there's a lot wider variety of parties. There's a lot more clubs that each one has kind of a distinctive flair, a distinctive touch. It's pretty inexpensive to go out. Going out in Poland is so much fun. I always have a good time. There's always people who want to go out and want to have a nice time out. An interesting situation that happened at a party quite recently was a number of people. We had a party at our residence in Poland, in Warsaw, and there are two doors to enter and leave our residence, and we were all out in the backyard, and the second door apparently was an emergency exit, but all the instructions, there was no sign saying don't go through, and I guess the signs that were up were in Polish only, so everyone had continuously been going out of this door, and I happened to go out of the door as one of the front desk assistants saw me, and she started yelling at me in Polish, and I had no idea why. I didn't know what was wrong, but someone explained to me that it was because I had just set off one of the alarms in the residence, unknowingly, but I had, because Apparently it was an emergency exit only. So lesson learned, I will only use the front door from now on. The funniest situation that's happened to me in Poland, it wasn't necessarily funny at the time, but looking back on it, I think we made the best of the situation. My friend Robin and I, we were flying back from, I believe it was London, and we were flying into Krakow, and then we were going to take a train from Krakow back to Warsaw. But we had booked a very late train out of Krakow, and when we got to Krakow, the lady explained to us in Polish, and then we got it translated, that our train had just been canceled, and the next train wasn't until very early in the morning. So that was a bit of a setback, especially after just coming off a long flight. So Robin and I walked around. We tried to find a hostel, but we couldn't book one. So we ended up actually just bar hopping for the rest of the night, trying out different bars, different restaurants. We found an amazing 24-hour pierogi place. Serves great pierogies if you're ever stuck in Krakow. And yeah, we saw Krakow by night. So it was definitely, at the time, it could have been a really bad situation, but I think we definitely made the most of it, and we got to experience a whole new side of Krakow. It's one of those languages that it's very difficult to learn. I've been trying to learn as much as I possibly can. That being said, when I hear it spoken, I think it sounds so beautiful. It just really rolls off the tongue. I think the word that I hear the most often is proszę, like je proszę or poproszę when you're ordering. So that's been pretty helpful. I know dzień dobry, dziękuję, or when you're eating a meal and you're just about to eat, you usually say smacznego. I can count to 3, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it's jeden, dwa, the 3 is a tough one because everyone that has taught me it has pronounced it a little bit differently, but I think it's psh, so somewhere along those lines. And I know the number 8 is 8. I think the first one that comes to mind is Pope John Paul II. I also know Roman Polanski, the director. I thought The Pianist was an incredible movie. I think someone else she's actually Polish and Canadian. Her name is Daria Werbowy, and she's a pretty famous model. I think she lived in Canada, but she was born and raised in Poland. So, yeah. Pozdrawiam internautów Wirtualnej Polski. Greetings, Internet, from Wirtualnej Polski.